Good evening, race fans. I'm Michael Norman up here for FRN with Warren Kyle Keith. We're here for the Tech Hub to TV Cup Series racing. This is Kicking Asphalt Racing from Charlotte. This is the championship race. And Warren, coming into this race, we've got a heck of a battle.
We do have a heck of a battle, and if you've been following us for the last 2 weeks here on Flatout Racing Network, you know that Craig Burns, Garrett Brown, and Dylan Stipe have been absolutely battling it out for the championship. And heading into this race, yeah, it's only a 2-point difference between Greg Burns and Garrett Brown, 375 to 373. Dylan Stipe, don't count him out. He's only 350 compared to the 375, so he's about 15 back. But with these two at the front, anything can happen. If they wreck, Dylan Stipe might be able to capitalize.
Absolutely. We've got 100 laps of racing tonight, which even at a track like this is pretty long distance, but not too incredibly long. So, you know, I'm not sure exactly what the field distance is, her pit strategy here, but it's, you know, you're thinking what, probably 30, 40 laps. So you're thinking probably what, about a 2-stop race if this race can go green all the way to the end.
Well, if we compare this to what we saw at Kansas, we go about 36, 37 laps. So you might get away with a 2-stop if you can stretch and have the cautions fall your way, but you might be looking at a 3-stop race. Sets of tires are going to be pretty profitable. We believe they have 4 sets of tires for this race. So managing your tires, getting that fuel, but you should have an extra set ready to go by the end of the race.
Absolutely. These cars qualified. Here we're going to take a look at the starting lineup. We got Ryan Thomas in the 32 and Brandon King on the front row. Garrett Brown, one of our championship contenders, he's starting in 3rd place. That's right now at the start of this race. He currently sits the points leader, even though, just based off where he's starting at. Keep an eye out here as we go through the starting grid. So we got 100 laps of racing tonight. Warren, if you're Craig Burns, what's your strategy coming into this?
Well, your strategy is pretty simple. Just keep the car clean. You're starting near the front already. You don't need to be racing that hard at the beginning. Save your stuff. See what the other guys around you are doing. And don't let the pressure of the other guys around you get to you. You have the points lead. Just protect it. But also at the same time, keep that 2nd place in points right in your eyesight, and don't let them get too far ahead, or, well, we saw it like last week. You'll get stuck in the middle of the pack and get in a wreck.
Absolutely, and Craig's coming into this race. He's got 2 wins on the season. The other 2 championship contenders have not found victory lane at all, but have been real consistent. As we're getting ready to take the green flag here, we got 100 laps. With having 2 wins, does that just kind of, even though you're only 2 points out, does that kind of ease your mind, thinking, okay, I've been around this track before, so what do you think it's going to take for him? Is he going to be patient? Is he just going to try to get to the front early?
Well, he's got to get to the front early as he can, as we're under green now. So Ryan Thomas gets to turn 1 and 2, and I'll get back to what I was saying here as they head down the backstretch. It's all dependent on just how you feel. You can only go as far as the car can go. And, if the car's not working for you, don't need to push it. You got a whole race to figure out what you need to do. As caution's out in the first lap.
Caution is out already. We are taking the caution flag here. I don't quite know who it was that caused that accident, as I'm assuming it's going to probably be one of these cars back here. It looks like it's the number 2 of Richard, I can't even say that last name.
It's Richard Suavely. And yeah,
that's how you say it.
Yeah, and he got hooked from the 46 there in turn 3, Nowhere for him to go there. He comes down 46, gets a run, doesn't expect the 2 to slow down as much, and just gets collected in the wall. It doesn't really look like he took many other people out, but lap 1, turn 3, we've already got excitement here at Charlotte.
About had it saved there, I think, with a little bit of contact there. So it was just enough to bring out the caution flag for the first time tonight on lap number 1.
Well, this gives us a good time to, continue our conversation about the championship, we're going to keep our eye on everyone else tonight. Don't worry about that. But the big story heading into this race, obviously, is your Championship 3. We don't have a playoff system here in the Tech Hub TV Cup Series, but how close the championship points are, it might as well be a playoff heading into this race. And, Michael, you've raced a lot in the past, and you know the pressure of going into a big championship race like this. How exactly do you think, because you've already asked me, how do you think Craig should drive? Do you think he should drive aggressive and go for all the points he can and build that gap, or do you think it should be conservative and just wait till the race comes to him?
Well, right now, Craig doesn't have to win the race. Unlike what we've seen in real NASCAR, this is nothing like that. He does not have to win this race. His only goal tonight is to finish ahead of that number 10 machine, and right now he's back in the 9th position, whereas Garrett Brown is in 2nd. And it's still early in the race. We're only on lap 3 of 100. So more than likely, I would save my stuff, feel out the car early, see what your car can do on new tires, and then see how your car can do on old tires. Help you set yourself up for that second half of the race to try to get up to the position that you need to be in.
As we're rounding the caution laps here, no takers on pit road those last couple times, and I don't think you're going to see any takers on pit road. Maybe in the back for the guys who spun, but rest of the field is going to keep it nice and single file and wait for the pace lights to go out. Should be getting the 2 to go this time. And, it's been a pretty good season for the Tech Hub TV series. We've got here a little bit late, Michael, when it comes to the season. 2 races to go, but, they're looking forward to a Season 2, and we're looking forward to hopefully broadcasting that Season 2 for them.
Absolutely. It's really fun to be able to do this broadcast and stuff, get some iRacing names out there. These drivers deserve it, putting on great shows for us, and I'm looking forward to hopefully being around for Season 2, maybe, to seeing how things go as we're approaching another lap here. It's not entirely sure, like you said, I don't think we'll see anybody come down pit road this early, maybe, but and like you said, we don't quite know the fuel strategy here, the pin information, so we don't know how long we can go on a run. So with this caution, it's not really gonna kind of help, but I would have to assume anywhere between 30 to 45 laps. So I'm gonna have to assume that under a green flag situation, this would probably be about a 2-stop race. So while we're sitting here working our first caution of the night, go ahead and take a quick side-by-side commercial. We'll be back with the 1 to go signal. and welcome back here to Charlotte Motor Speedway. Warren, we're getting ready to go back under the green flag, so do you think we're going to see another quick caution, or are we going to try to hopefully get a good green flag stretch here?
We should get a green flag stretch. We're listening to some of the radio chatter in the room, and everyone's kind of like, all right, let's just calm down and get it going here. And we'll take a look at your top 10 here as we get ready to go back green. Ryan Thomas going to be restarting first. Garrett Brown second. That's a championship contender. Brandon King third. Mike Tellier fourth. Parker Bland fifth. Dylan Stipe sixth. Nathan Hall seventh. Eighth will be Garrett Powell. Ninth will be Greg Burns, and 10th will be Tristan Meyer.
Something I noticed here too is that you guys weren't kidding when you said old school NASCAR, because there are single file restarts here.
Yeah, we saw that a couple times last week at Darlington, and we were quite interested. It's like, what are they doing here? But they're going to try a single file restart as pace car dives into pit lane. As Ryan Thomas has control, and he's gone already. His green flag's back in the air here at Charlotte, and no surprise, the three of Mike Tellier are already getting a jump on the outside. He'll battle for fourth, and now third place entering turn one as farther back in the pack. Not a good restart for anybody. All the way back from Dylan Stipe on back. No one went going. Wasn't expecting the launch as Ryan Thomas has opened up a nice gap down the back straightaway of about 0.7 of a second.
That's right, about 0.7 of a second is single file out, and that's usually a good way to get a restart. Battle for second place. Here comes Mike Tellier underneath Garrett Brown, and Garrett Brown's going to lose another spot to Brandon King, stuck on the outside lane.
Yeah, he's got, in this Charlotte track is an inside line track. We've seen it in the past with the tire models updates. It's been an inside line track, but you can get the outside to run, especially with this high downforce package. As you see Parker Bland getting on the back of this battle here for fourth on back. And, it's just, you see right here, the 00 just got a good run on the inside. He's going to pass the 10 of Garrett Brown easily off turn 4, and the whole pack is pretty much spread out as they complete yet another lap under green on lap 9 of 100 complete.
Absolutely, we're about 1/10 of the way there to crown ourselves the champion. And you see Garrett, I'm not sure if is Garrett, you think, trying to save a little bit? You think that's why he's trying to run the outside lane, just trying not to use up his tires right now?
And, you can make that argument, but here at Charlotte, that's not going to help you. You're going to wear your tires down either way, so you might as well hug the bottom, keep it rolling. If you want to save tires, back off. Back up the corner. Don't, let off the throttle a little bit early, let it roll in through the center and get back on the throttle late, and you'll be able to hold on. But you need to keep, you need to keep the lead in sight if you're going to be one of these championship contenders, and that's what Garrett Brown's doing.
Back up near the front here, Brandon King just made a pass for second place now, and they're running just under 0.5 of a second, so they're gaining on the leader.
Yeah, they're gaining on the lead, and we saw this last week. We saw these three, Ryan Thomas, Brandon King, Mike Tellier. They've been the class of the field these last couple of weeks here on the Flatout Racing Network here for the Tech Hub TV Cup Series. And we've seen them just up at the front consistently. And Garrett Powell indicating he's going to be pitting this time by. And that's 10th place as they roll from the turn 3. But yeah, they've been the class of the field, and no surprise up the front now at Charlotte Motor Speedway, just like they were at Kansas.
Absolutely. Trying to get through the run on the straightaways here. It's dwindled down, so they're catching. So the draft really does come into play here, to be able to catch up. Now, passing is going to be a whole nother story.
Passing could be a whole other story, and restarts are going to be your best friend here at this racetrack. Get all the positions you can, and then it's going to single file out. As Mike Tellier has honestly had the best run here as a little peekaboo there. Second place, Brandon King popping in and out. And as we look at the lap times this time by, and yeah, quickest lap time on the racetrack was Mike Tellier that time by. So Mike Tellier running some quick lap times here off turn 2 as it's about a 3-car blanket for the lead. Then Parker Bland about a second off that third place.
Ryan Thomas going to block to the inside. That's going to allow Brandon to try it on the outside lane. Unfortunately, not enough momentum to keep him out there, but we'll see if he gets off the corner. If he could just get to that quarter panel, we could see some side draft there, but he's putting up a good block.
And getting back to the championship here for a second, Garrett Brown and Dylan Stipe 5th and 6th. Right now they're nose to tail, but right behind them in 7th place is Craig Burns, and he's having a heck of a time battling Tristan Meyer and Nathan Hall. And as of right now, Craig Burns would still be the championship leader, but if he loses these 2 spots right here, that would give it to a tiebreaker between him and Garrett Brown, and we'll have to see what the tiebreaker is come near the end of the race. But these 2 positions right now are very important for Craig Burns. Even though we're earlier in this race, every position is going to count, and he needs to protect these at all costs.
Absolutely. You would have to assume that the tiebreaker would probably be wins, in which case that would go to Craig because he does have 2 wins on this season.
And if it does go to that, then Craig has that to fall back on. But, if you're a driver, you don't want to fall back on that. And, he's opened up a bit of a gap now over Tristan Meyer as we complete lap number 15. So getting into this race about halfway through a fuel run now. As we look back at the top of the board, it's still Ryan Thomas, as not really much is going on at the top of the board. Ryan Thomas, Brandon King, Mike Taylor still 1, 2, 3. As we stated earlier, passing is going to be a premium here. If you can make a pass, you're going to have a heck of a run, as Brandon King gets right up to the back bumper, but the dirty air, as you see right there, just catches him out, and he cannot get the run off the corner and catch up to Ryan Thomas.
Yeah, you need to have a good run entering the corner in order to even really try to make a pass. It is that hard. You can suck up good with the draft, but as soon as you get to this back bumper, you just run out of time to even make a move, and then you're forced to having to let off, and then you lose all that momentum.
Yeah, and if you lose all the momentum, and I call this the Indianapolis for stock cars. It's the same principle as you would have an Indy car in Indianapolis. It's not a one-line racetrack sometimes, but, you can run the outside. See Mike Taylor trying to run the outside there and get a run. But the dirty air here is just like it is in Indy car. So you get up to somebody, and you're thinking, I got to run. And you get in the corner, and you're thinking, I can stick with them. And the next thing you know, that car is just walking up the hill with you. And you got to get off the throttle, and then, of course, you're under threat from behind you, as we see Mike Taylor doing just that last couple times by. 89 had to let off, and the 3 car was ready to pounce.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the good bet about being in 3rd place, man. If you get enough run and the car in front of you has to back off, you can just drive on by on one of the corners here. But we're looking at Ryan Thomas still leading. He's opened it back up to almost a 5/10 lead. And, these front 2 have really opened up about a second gap over 4th place right now. Dylan Stipe, who's just kind of running by himself, just about a second behind 3rd place.
And Dylan Stipe's doing what he needs to do. He's one of the 3 we're talking about. He's doing exactly what he needs to do, running well. Now, of course, Garrett Brown and Craig Burns, they're running behind him, points-wise, that, he wants at the back of his mind. But he's doing what he has to. He's running his race. He's not worrying about those other 2. He's going out there, and he's putting as fast laps as he can down. And the last time by, he was actually starting to catch the leaders. I mean, he ran a 31.1 compared to Ryan Thomas 31.0. So he's right there with the leaders when it comes to lap time. He could easily catch these guys down if he puts some consistent laps down. And, we don't know if there's bonus points involved. I assume there isn't. We'll see. But, if he gets up to this lead, that could be pretty big for Dylan Stipe.
Absolutely. And we're, as you could say, Dylan Stipe is the one that's going to have to take the most risks in this. He's enough back that he really has. If nothing bad happens to the other 2 in the points, he can still win this race, just alone. So he can be not only just running his race, but taking the most, I guess you could say, risks in terms of like late race pitting or something like that. Try to get fresher tires to at least get up there to win the race.
Yeah, he can play that strategy card all he wants, but. It's going to come down to if he has the speed on the long run. Here at Charlotte, it's so much about tire wear with this old out surface, as battle for 2nd place is on Mike Taylor and Brandon King. Brandon King does a smart thing, lets Mike by, knows he's better tires, just lets him through. Very smart driving there from the 89 car of Brandon King. But he's got to run his own race and see how the strategy plays out. And if he can have a car that goes good in the long run, which right now is showing he does, that's going to pay dividends later in this race when you have to start conserving tires. And what else, even fuel. So we'll see what Dylan Stipe has as driver of the move right now. It's actually Garrett Brown. He's actually opened up a two-position lead over Craig Burns, which, again, would tie them on points, but give the tiebreaker to Craig Burns at the moment, as he's sitting in 8th place, and Garrett Brown sitting P5.
Absolutely. We are 23 laps into this race. 1 caution so far. Things have seemed to have settled down for the most part into this run, so nothing really I guess, what's the word I'm looking for here?
Nothing interesting happening? Well, I'm going to
Yeah.
counteract you because battle for 13th between Dakota Curtis in the 6 car and James Kindle and the James Knuckle in the 91 was just heating up heading into turn 1, as it's still side by side for 14th and 15th. As we're, here we look through the whole field and we try to see exactly what's going on, because every position counts on this racetrack, even if you're not battling for points, as it's now almost 3 wide across the line for that 14th position as they head off in the turn 1, the 24 car on the inside of the 91.
Absolutely, running that throwback rainbow paint scheme, and that number 24 has done that car very well in the past in real life here at this track, hoping to capitalize on maybe some paint scheme luck, I guess, if you will. Settle it out here, but I try not to talk a lot about a specific person, because I don't want that commentator's curse to happen.
Oh,
It's been a whole it was a whole thing in Elite, so I'm kind of trying not to bring that over here.
well, commentator's curse or not, that paint scheme is very nice, and it's very nice to see some old paint schemes on track sometimes. And right behind him, James Knuckle in that 91. That's an old paint scheme. You think about it. It's an old Carl Edwards scheme. So
yeah, absolutely.
Some pretty good paint schemes on track here in the Tech Hub TV Cup Series, and that's what we love to see. We love to see paint schemes, and we love to see battles on the racetrack. As the field's spread out now. We've had just about 23 laps under green. The field kind of as there was a bit of a touch there, a slight touch between the 50 and the 6, heading into turn 1. The 6 goes up the racetrack and saves it, but that's one of the dangers here at Charlotte. Later in this race, later in the run on tires, that 50 car dove down and beneath the 6th, and he just didn't have the grip to keep it down there and almost took them both out. So gotta be careful and gotta keep it, tidy through turn 1 and 2, and tidy. Yeah. Keep it tidy.
Keep it tidy.
And keep it down on the bottom.
And that's another thing too. Pretty soon, even this early, patience is gonna run out. You can only take riding behind somebody for so long with getting runs of the momentum that you do before you finally decide you want to make a move. And trust me, I've been in those situations myself. It's really hard to just be content to riding behind somebody for a run.
Yeah, not to mention when the tire fall off is as drastic as it is. Let's take a look for Ryan Thomas, for example, at the top of the board here still, as we were at lap number 30, coming to 30 this time. His best lap time was a 29.475, right? That was beginning of the race, fresh tires, pumping out those good lap times. This time by, let's take a look. Last time was a 31.6. What's this time? A 31.4. 2-second fall off on these tires, as we're about near the end of the run. So a 2-second fall off on tires. Now we start to get into the question of who is going to short pit? Who is going to take advantage of those fresh tires, which are worth 2 seconds? And if you're someone like Mike Taylor and they're worth 2 seconds, you're 2 seconds behind the lead. If you pit now ahead of Ryan Thomas, you can easily jump that and be right with him off the pit stop. So it's going to be interesting to see how the strategy plays out and how you use these tires accordingly.
It will be, because honestly, if you think about it, it's kind of early, a little early to pit now, because if you pit now, you're not going to make it. You're going to be roughly 10 laps short on gas, depending on how much more you can make it. So I wouldn't see people maybe short pitting until at least lap 35, at least to where they would know. But man, they've really, really opened up this gap, as the 3 car has just kind of fallen back.
He has fallen back, and he's fallen back now into the clutches of Brandon King, as a battle for 4th is on. Garrett Brown, Dylan Stipe, that is championship gold right there for Garrett Brown. That would put him in the lead of the championship by a single point. So Garrett Brown making his way up to the field on old tires, and he's doing exactly what he needs to do. And, this is going to be such an interesting dilemma, as we're lap 32 now of 100. We're getting not near halfway just yet. Don't get your hopes up. But we're getting to that point of the race where you're going to start thinking, if you're Craig Burns, oh my gosh, I got to go. You're seeing the positions fall right in front of your eyes, and then the patience starts to wear thin. The heart rate starts to go up, and you really got to start moving, and that's where accidents happen. And hopefully that doesn't happen, but that's where they start.
Yep. We're still under green here. Yeah, you got to be real careful getting on the pit road. If it's sliding it just a little bit, you're going to come up the track into somebody who's not pitting, and then that's going to be a whole dilemma.
Yeah, I'm just looking through the field now to see exactly who's doing what and who's where. As you know, we're looking all the way back in 30th, where Ryan Ezel is in the 88. That's your first side-by-side action on track. Is for 30th. That should tell you just how strung out and single file this field is around the racetrack right now, and that's going to play dividends for like Ryan Thomas. Let's see he catches lap down traffic, which he's going to in a few laps. No question about it. You can see the field going to turn 1 on my spotter cam here, and he's going to start catching. But if they're single file, he can easily start knocking passes down. Now, if they're too wide, here you can't go 3 wide here to make a pass. It's not going to happen. And that's when second place like Mike Tellier might be able to take advantage. But amazingly, you know, we've been talking about Ryan Thomas. He was quick at Kansas. He's quick this week. 3.3 seconds is the gap between first and second place, as the battle for second is starting to heat up a little bit there, Michael.
Yeah, and it's very interesting to see, too, because, you know, it was 2 seconds before. Now it's down to 3, and it seems to be gaining. So the 32 car, he definitely isn't saving unless the cars behind him are, and they're in a draft.
Yeah, but you got to think he's in clean air. You know, he doesn't have to worry about, you know, the air coming off the spoiler behind you or the dirty air in front of you. He's got all the clean air in the world. Now, it's going to change when he hits traffic. I'm not going to say, you know, he's going to have clean air the whole race, but that clean air here at Charlotte is absolutely king. When you have a high downforce package like these Cup cars do, you can just pull away, and once you get about a second lead, then you're out of the draft, you know, reach of the draft, and you can just start saving tires. And that's exactly what Ryan Thomas has probably done. And he saved a little bit better than the others who were actually racing, like Brandon King and Mike Tellier and Garrett Brown. And he's just been able to pull a bigger gap as the run has gone on.
Yeah, absolutely. Thomas still leading by about 3.7, almost 4 seconds now. We're looking back, still here with Mike Tellier, Brandon King, and now the 10 car of Garrett Brown. If he could get around these guys, that's just putting more cars and more points between him and Craig Burns.
Yeah, and you know, like we said earlier, Craig Burns is seeing this on his side of the sim. He can see those positions clicking away. I'm sure he has the relative clicked up to the 10 car to see exactly where he's at on track and who's passing. As he's got actually a nice run on Mike Tellier there, but Mike Tellier shuts the door off turn 4 as they rocket down to turn 1. This is about a 4-car breakaway here, as we're getting indications, hands out the window, possibly for the 3 car. So pit stops might be incoming as we're, yeah, that's about on time. You know, we had the caution to begin the race.
Laps,
yeah, it's about on time. We had the caution to help drag out the pit cycle just a bit longer, but you know, this is going to put you in the bubble of maybe a 2-stop if you can save the fuel and tires. It's almost a big wreck there. I don't think Dylan Stipe knew the 3 was coming down and almost ran to the back of him.
And the 89 almost just about spun it coming onto pit road there. So early pit stops happening for these drivers. So you see 1 car on pit road already. Actually, I think a lot of cars already came down pit road. We have a bunch of cars that have gone a lap down. So pit stops starting about 40 laps into this race, about what I expected.
Yeah, as we're having more and more cars come down pit lane. And surprisingly, Ryan Thomas has elected to stay out in this cycle, going to stretch it a bit further. And if he can stretch it a bit farther here, if we catch a caution, I don't know, about 10 laps from now, he'll be in the window possibly to stretch it to the end. So he's going to stretch this field as far as he can go and see just exactly what plays in his favor. But he's also risking a lot right now as the tire fall off. It's about 3 seconds right now, and he's going to be losing about 3 seconds a lap to these guys who just came down. As here he comes this time by.
Yep, here he comes coming in. You can see him coming in now. Let's take a look at Garrett Brown. Will he stay out an extra lap for bonus points? No, he doesn't. He's coming down, but Dylan Stipe does. Dylan stays out, and then he's going to lead that lap. I'm not sure how many bonus points it is, but it's a bonus point. It's bonus points nonetheless and he needs every point he can get.
Yeah, he needs every point he can get. I'm sorry for my speech right there. But, you know, this is a big problem here because, you know, Dylan Stipe, he wants to catch a caution. That's what he's doing. He's trying to stay out, try to catch a caution, which we've seen in the past has worked. As here he comes this time, it's not going to work out for him. But he was losing a lot of time to the leaders who just came down pit road. I'm seeing some some 30-second lap times. This whole cycle is throwing the whole pit board off. But should be seeing some 30-second, 29-second lap times. Indeed, right there, Brandon King 29.5. So right there, compared to the 32-second lap times we've been seeing, that's a huge loss in time.
Absolutely. Take a look and see. Looks like Brandon King, so Ryan Thomas's his interval is going to be gone this time. And that's
it's gone.
That's just the product of staying out or earlier than somebody else. So it's going to be roughly, I want to say, around at least a second. But this is still anybody's race after these first round of pit stops.
Oh no, that interval's gone. Him staying out those extra lap or two killed him. He now has about a 0.3 of a second lead over Brandon King and Mike Tellier combined. So the top three are back under a blanket here at Charlotte as we're lapping lap 43 of 100. We'll see, how much these guys in second and third, and heck, even Parker Bland gained a lot of time there. He's only a second back from this. I've used those tires up the first 2 laps to try to catch him, but they're there with him again as they rocket off in turn 1 and 2 yet again.
So we're keeping an eye on our points battle as well. Garrett Brown has cycled into the 7th position, and Craig Burns, who seems to be having some internet issues, it's saying he's around 13th, but I think he's actually having some internet issues.
No, 13th is accurate. That is an accurate position count for Craig Burns as he's entering turn 3, just behind the 28 of Nathan Hall as they come off turn 4. Not a good pit stop for either of them. Not a good pit stop for Garrett Brown. He was running up in the top 5, now in 7th place. Granted, he's in a pack of cars here, along with Travis Daly and Dylan Stipe, not too far behind. He's about half a straightaway back. But no, on the good pit stops here, they stayed out just a bit longer, and that's cost them.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, after a first round of pit stops are approaching halfway, we're going to take another commercial break and be right back with more action from Charlotte. And we're back here with more action from Charlotte, just at the halfway mark, 50 laps down, 50 laps to go, with with Ryan Thomas still leading. Brandon King. Oh, never mind. Make that Mike Tellier, who just passed for second place. Brandon King back to third. Tristan Myher, I believe that's how you say his name. Probably butchered that. I'm sorry. He's now moved up to the fourth position, 5 seconds behind Garrett Brown, who's moved from 7th to 5th. Parker Bland in 6th. Dylan Stipe 7th. Travis Daly in 8th. Nick King 9th. John Mullins in 10th. Craig Burns has only managed to get back up to 11th position, but Warren, that's not enough.
No, it's not enough, and he's trying to make up some positions here. He's going to get one on Nick King coming off turn 2, so that's another position back in his pocket, points-wise, and he's got John Mullins right in front of him. So, off that cycle of pit stops, and you saw it on the side-by-side coverage, it's pretty much been single file at the front of the field, but a lot of lap-down cars side-by-side is, oh wow, that was a big hit there. I believe it was a 28 car in the wall of turn 4, is now the 50 in the wall on the front straightaway. 2 cars in the wall and 1 straightaway. That's, let's see, 12th and 13th as they come off turn 4. That was a moment. But back to what I was saying, it's single file for the first 3 spots, and here is the big problem. You're Mike Tellier and you're Brandon King, and you were, we saw it. They pitted earlier than Ryan Thomas, correct? They tried to gain back that time. Well, that lap traffic didn't help them at all, because now it's back to 3 seconds. Not more than 10 laps after that pit stop.
So far, this has been Ryan's race to lose. He started on the pole, and that's where, and it seems like if he keeps going like this is where he's going to finish. We're about 25 laps away from another round of pit stops, so, and we haven't had another caution since the first one that came out on lap number 1, knock on wood. So
yeah,
this
I've been impressed.
This race has been flying by, and like we said before, for Craig Burns, who
there you
just
go.
lost 2 spots. See what happens?
Caution's out. Yeah, you you had to say it. You had to say
Craig
it.
Burns is in trouble. He was involved.
As it's a big pile up in the front straightaway. It's the leaders. Oh dear, they're piling in.
Oh boy, please tell me that they didn't get involved, because I'm on the replay screen looking back at this accident.
I'm telling you right now, as we got a car backing up almost in the second place. Brandon King almost involved. The leaders came into that piling in.
Oh, I've seen what happened here. Okay, so we're gonna look at it here. The car in front of Greg Burns slaps the wall. It's a purple and like greenish car, and that's a lot of damage to the 12. I think the 12 is his championship hopes are done unless they have fast repairs.
No, they don't have fast repairs, and Craig Burns is going to have to deal with that damage for the rest of the race. And this is the same thing that happened last week for some of these championship contenders at Darlington. They got involved in other people's business they didn't need to be getting involved in, and now it has probably cost Craig Burns a championship unless something like a pileup on the front stretch happens on a restart. Craig Burns is going to be sitting back in his home just absolutely befounded of the consequences of racing hard for a position. And it's just one of those things that you can never quite prepare yourself for, is a big pileup like this.
Absolutely. As we were getting ready for another round of pit stops, if you pit now, it's gonna be, I think, way too early.
Not necessarily. You could make it on another caution. On another caution, you can make it, because we made it about 40 laps, right there. And because we had that one caution at the beginning of the race to cycle that pit stop a little bit further, if they pit now and get another caution in the next 10 laps, they can make it. So it's going to be interesting to see who comes in, who takes tires, who doesn't, who takes the amount of fuel that they don't. It's going to be a real interesting game of chess as we come around here. Pits will be open this time, by the way.
Absolutely. We're going to have to wait and see who's going to come down pit road.
Yeah, but that's a big... gosh, man. I heard you say Craig Burns was involved, and my heart sunk, because, we hyped this up to where it's Craig Burns, he's got this championship to lose, and the next thing you know, a car just gets loose in front of him and collects him in a wreck. As let's see who takes pits here. Leader doesn't. Leader stays out. Tristan Maher's going to stay out. He's second. Parker Bland thinking about his crawling to the pit road here. Parker Bland comes in. He's the first of the top 5 to make a pit stop. Everyone's staying out. Behind him, then Dakota Curtis. And I believe it's the 89 car. Nope. Well, the 89 car's coming around. We're still trying to figure this out here, folks. That pile up on the front stretch, everyone piled in there, and we're trying to figure out the timing here. But your leader does stay out, along with Tristan Maher, who has taken advantage of that pileup and has moved up to 2nd place on the racetrack.
And that's good, taking advantage. But he's gotten up there, and there's some lap cars in between 1st and 2nd right now. So we're gonna have to just keep an eye on it, especially with the leader staying out. So it's gonna be some fresh tires versus some old tires in this next run.
Yeah, and that's going to be interesting. We saw Parker Bland come down pit road, and he, I believe, pitted not too long before the leaders did. So he's going to take that gamble here, Mike. He's going to take that gamble, and he's going to try to stretch it out, I believe. If I was Parker Bland, I'd take the gamble. I mean, you're not running for points. You're running for a race win. Why not take the gamble? It's the last race of the season, Who's going to blame you? Who's going to blame you for that? So, we're going to start seeing some drivers take the plunge here as pit road's open for the lap down cars coming off turn 4 here, and we should be able to cycle through and see who's where. And if you're Ryan Thomas, I'm surprised no one in the top 6 pitted, and I'm actually quite surprised about that, knowing we're going to be going back to green lap 60, 61 maybe here. So you could probably stretch that, but some of these drivers are expecting another green flag pit stop under green. But if you're Parker Bland, this might play in your hands. You're going to be able to stay out and hopefully stretch it. But if with tires that fall off like that, it might not be the best move.
It might not be, but we're just going to really have to kind of watch and pay attention. That's going to be a key thing, as we are still under the caution, like you said, probably a restart with about 40 laps to go. So. And that's just a fuel window too. So like you said, we could see these cars having to come down pit road with about 15 to 10 laps to go if this race goes green from this restart.
Yeah, then it becomes the question of, do you take tires? Because tires can help you, but if you take fuel only and just do a splash and go and gain that time, the tire might not be able to catch up to you. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly who takes tires and who doesn't on that final round of pit stops. I've run the whole 600 here before twice, and I can tell you that I went a long time with tires, and I actually blew a right front here. And it's not pretty when it happens, because you go straight up in the wall and you kill about half a field. So it's going to be interesting to see who doesn't take a tire, who risks it for the biscuit, as I say, and tries to go for the win here at Charlotte, as I believe lights are out on the pace car. We're going to be going back to green next time by. Let's go ahead and take a quick rundown of your top 10 as they double up for the restart. Ryan Thomas is the man in control as they come down for the green next time by. Tristan Maher, after that big pileup, you're going to see a lot of different faces in the top 10. Tristan Maher, 2nd place. John Mullins in 3rd. Those names might sound familiar to you. They raced pretty good at Darlington last week. Nick King, we haven't talked a lot about him lately. 4th place. 5th place, Garrett Brown. That's your new championship leader after the wreck. 6th place will be Nathan Hall. 7th place will be Dylan Stipe, hoping that something happens to Garrett Brown. 8th place will be Mike Tellier. 9th place, Brandon King. And 10th place is the 66 of Deshaun Gorman. As, we'll go through about 15th. 11th is Dakota Curtis. 12th will be Parker Bland. 13th would be David Durand. 14th would be Ryan Ezell. And 15th will be actually Craig Burns, who's back out on the racetrack.
Surprising to see him back out onto the racetrack. Right, with all the damage, I believe his championship hopes are dashed. So it's going to be all about Garrett Brown and if he can keep his car out of trouble in this final half of the race. It's
going to be interesting as the field doubles up. Pace car about to make the hard left on the pit lane. Indeed he does, leaving tire marks in the back as he hits down pit lane. Ryan Thomas in control, and the green flag is back out here at Charlotte. Top 3 get away in a single file formation as it's about double file, about 5th on back as they rock it down towards turn 1.
There's no rule about changing lanes, because that's exactly what that 17 did before the start-finish line.
Yeah, I don't think, we didn't see that last week at Darlington, them call anything about that, so I think it's legal. As the 17 car, Tristan Maher is now going to run up behind Ryan Thomas. It's a 3-car blank at the front of the field. Remember, they are not on fresh tires. We're going to keep an eye on the 00 and see how much positions he makes. As they rocket off turn forward, it's double file, almost 3 wide for 5th on back, as that's where the action is. As they rocket down to turn 1 yet again. Mike Tellier trying to make a move on Nick King. As behind them, it's Dylan Stite making up ground as Garrett Brown starts to drop back.
Garrett Brown has nothing to lose now. As long as he doesn't fall back too much and get behind Craig, he should be pretty much smooth sailing here. It also depends on how slow that 12th car is. The 16th on back is a lap down still. So with Craig being on the lead lap, he's only going to be as low as 15, at least until they start lapping him. So the 10 car's got to keep an eye out, but he's also really got to try to get back up there.
Yeah, and the battle is still on just behind the 10 car for the 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th position. I'm keeping my eye on the 00 of Parker Bland. He's on fresh tires. We'll see if he tries to save them at all. He's not really making up positions like he should, so possibly in save mode is the 00 here as we lap 64 of 100. As this is just the biggest hornet's nest we've seen since the drop of the green flag there, Michael. As they rocket off in turn number 1 and 2, the 87 going to make his way around the outside and pass the 00. That is for 11th position.
Keeping an eye on it. He's got the fresher tires, but it still comes down to where you're at on the racetrack. Yeah, you have fresher tires. That just means you get better runs, but if you've got nowhere to go, then you can't take those runs anywhere. And see here, now he's in jeopardy of losing that spot. Stuck behind, I believe that's the 28. As we're going to continue trying to find it. Here, yep. That is the 28. He's stuck behind now. And now he's going to try to go underneath him.
Yeah, the 28, he was holding back here. He started he started row 3 on that restart. And my correction, the 87 car is actually 2 laps down, but he does have fresh tires. That is why he's marching through the field. As back for the lead, we haven't said this much tonight, but Ryan Thomas actually has his work cut out for him. Tristan Maher is going to keep him honest here off turn 2 as they're rocking down the back straightaway. A 10th of a second now, less than that as they enter turn number 3. Maher tries to run a little bit higher entering the corner, try to get the run off. As he's going to try to get a run on Ryan Thomas. Doesn't look like he's going to get it, but he's going to wind out off the corner. He's going to get to the quarter panel. It's a battle for the lead down towards turn 1.
Absolutely. In the outside lane, if he can carry enough momentum through the corner, will be the decent line to have. So you see him, there he goes. He's about got the run. They're going to side draft down into turn 3. There's a lap car up ahead. Wonder what lane he'll choose, but he's going to go to the apron to stay out of these shooters' way.
He's going to get down on the apron, but almost comes back to the racetrack. That had to let the 17 go, to let the 32 maybe come up. And it's going to be back down to single file as they come off turn 4. But Tristan Maher, we haven't talked about him tonight, but he's keeping the 32 very much honest this run as we're trying to come down to green flag pit stops the next 15 laps. So first and second under a blanket. First time tonight we've been able to say that late in a run down the back straightaway. But the real battle again is for just about, 6th place. As Garrett Brown is losing another position to Brendan King. Not like it matters. Craig Burns needs all the positions he can get as he's running 15th. But look at the difference in tires here, Michael. That 87 car of Garrett Powell, he's 2 laps down. But he's about to be in your frame here for the top 3. And that is the difference between fresh tires and old tires here at Charlotte.
Absolutely, especially if you can catch him at the right place. You can just drive on by. Now, what's that going to do for the leaders? If he catches them and tries to pass them, someone gets stuck in the wrong lane, and bam, then you're going to have a real good battle for the lead.
Yeah, possibly, but the 87's doing the smart thing. He's passing them on the outside. He's giving them the inside lane and letting them run their line, and he's just trying to pass them instead of having them get out of his way. So good line running from the 87, but man, he's able to carry so much more speed into the corner than the leaders, and he's going to get one of his laps back. So if he can get this back and we get a caution, and he tries to stay within the lucky dog spot, he's not there yet. He's going to have to catch Dalen Holcroft for that, but that could be interesting as smart move by Tristan Maher just goes out of the way and lets the 87 through.
Absolutely. Keeping an eye on the battle at the front here. It's still very close. Just trying to keep it going.
Yeah, and that's the thing. At that pass position there from the 87 to get his lap back, as indeed he does off turn 2. So 1 lap down now is the 87 to Garrett Powell. That 17 gain lost a lot of time to the 32 car, but the 32 car now is going to be in dirty air. This is the first time we've seen the 32 car in that dirty air all night of a car that is about equal on tire and speed of him. So we'll see what Ryan Thomas can do. This is a new position for him, trying to follow a car into the corner. We'll see if the top 5 can gain back to him, because Tristan Maher all the way back down to Garrett Brown. Not Garrett Brown, I'm sorry, Dylan Stipe are closing in on your leader, Ryan Thomas, as they come off turn 2.
Absolutely, and it's not only that, but we're probably at least another 10 laps away from these cars having to come down pit road for those that stayed out.
Yeah, and that's going to be another question, like I said earlier, as I was going to say battle for second's on, but it's another lap car getting his lap back. Battle for third is on, though. 20 of Dylan Stipe and 64 John Mullins as they rocking down turn 1. Who takes tires? I'm assuming everyone that comes down is going to take tires, but if you try to stretch it, maybe you don't. So who takes tires and who doesn't is going to be the big question, as we expect pit stops around lap 82 on the racetrack. So about 10 laps from now, maybe earlier, for some of the drivers who had to pit earlier in that cycle. So expect this to go to lap 82 or so, and pit stop's going to be happening around then, as your leader now has 2 cars side by side ahead of him, and that's allowing Tristan Maher to slowly reel in, but not by much. It's about a 1 second lead off turn 2.
Absolutely, as you see here, the year's going to go around that. I believe that's the 5 machine, and the spot's going to stay up high, but it's back to just about a second. The gap is right now, and it could be closing just that little bit, as we have a battle for second with Stipe just taking over. Oh, never mind. It's the more blinking. I looked up and I noticed that there was a different second. Well, actually, maybe he did.
He did. No, he passed him cleanly on the front straightaway. Tristan Maher got a bad run off turn 4, and Dylan Stipe was able to take advantage of that. And points-wise, let's talk about that now. If Dylan Stipe wins this race and Garrett Brown loses spots, then we could be talking about Dylan Stipe possibly being in the shot for the championship. He's only 15 back, and if he gets max points and Garrett Brown falls back, that could be a big win for him. But Garrett Brown running 4th place right now. He's doing everything he can now, knowing Dylan Stipe has a car that could possibly win this race, to stay within the touch of the leaders and try to counteract that max points gain that Dylan Stipe might be able to get.
Keeping an eye on the standings here, Greg Burns is slowly gaining positions the more cars that get lapped. And so it looks like he's now up to the 12th position as the last current lead lap.
Yes, but he's also 6 points back in the championship right now compared to where Garrett Brown is running. So, he was 2 points gained coming in this race. Now he's 6 points back as we run lap 77 of 100 on the racetrack. And you're correct, he's actually gaining spots and more cars get lapped down. But the big problem is the 12 car and the 32 car are separated by about 3 seconds on track when it comes down to lapping. So even though Craig Burns is going to get lapped, Ryan Thomas is coming quick, and that's not going to be good for Craig Burns, as he'll be a lap behind.
Well, don't count anybody out. Don't count anything out, because if Garrett gets into trouble and has to DNF, this could still swing back into Craig's way.
Oh, no, absolutely. And I'm not saying Craig Burns is out of this. People at home, do not start writing down on your paper notes, oh, they called this too early. Anything can happen. We just seen that with the 12 car getting in the wreck earlier. Anything can happen, and it probably will happen here at Charlotte. But right now, Craig Burns is not going to win this championship if Garrett Brown doesn't have problems. But the way Garrett Brown's been running, I don't think he's going to have problems, and that's just the way of the land right now. Now, Dylan Stipe is the biggest challenge to Garrett Brown, but Garrett Brown's running a pretty solid race right now.
Speaking of Greg, there he is on the outside lane with no front end after being involved in that accident. Just a very, very tough situation for that number 12 machine this whole time. Still, even with a damaged car, he may not win the championship, but he could still finish top 10. If more cars get lapped or more cars DNF and have an issue. That 12 car, I guarantee you, he isn't using up as much fuel as the rest of these cars are.
No, and he's not using as much tires either. Running the modified at the front of the car there, but you know, it's one of those things to where he's just running now to
Oh, here
pray.
comes the 32 to pit road. We talked about that. And here he comes on lap 80.
Yep, and I said lap 82, so he's pitting early. He's trying to jump the what would I can't speak there. He's trying to jump
20
what
laps
would be
to
the
go.
undercut. Yeah, he's trying to jump the undercut, which is very smart. You know, we see this in open wheel racing and sports car racing a lot. Is jumping the undercut, but Ryan knows the drop off, and he knows that he has to come in, get 4 tires, and get out and make up as big of the ground as he can on second place. Which right now, Dylan Stipe, actually your leader, as they come across the line, he's going to stay out yet another lap and put the 32 car Ryan Thomas lap down. If he gets a caution right now, that's huge. He's hoping for a caution right now, more than anybody else on this racetrack.
Absolutely. And that caution right now would bring everybody back. It would trap that 32 a lap down. And with him being a dominant car of the race, he wouldn't be the first car a lap down either, so he wouldn't even get that. He might get a wave around, but even then, he'd still have to come back through the field and, as to your point from before, be stuck in lap traffic.
Yeah, he would. And right now, I believe it's either going to be Daniel Holdcroft or Craig Burns is going to be your lucky dog if we do get a caution here in the next couple laps. And actually, no, it would be Craig Burns because Daniel Holdcroft, just got his lap back. He's right ahead of your leader there, Dylan Stipe. So if a caution were to come out, this would throw every note and pad and whatever else I got around me right now up in the air and go, well, you know what? Just throw it out the window. We're done.
Throw out Larry Mack's calculator.
Oh, yeah, that calculator's broken. The Texas Instruments is gone.
Absolutely. Yeah, probably.
Tristan Myers down pit lane. That was second place on the racetrack. So pit stop starting to slowly inch their way into the problems here. Is lap 84.
Garrett Brown's holding steady in second position right now. 20 car stay out, like you said, he's really trying to stretch it. He might just have a few laps more gas than everybody because it looks like he's slowing down, maybe trying to save.
Yeah, I don't know what he's saving for. You know, you're going to be able to make it to the end of the race here with this pit stop, and you would also get the net gain of a new tire. So if you're trying to stretch it from here now that we've seen Ryan come down and get fresh tires, you're not making the best strategic plan. Now, could he be saving fuel here to stretch it out as far as he can to say, God, please, a caution? That would be just amazing.
Absolutely.
Possibly, but
yeah, we talked about it before and it happened. So
yeah. Go ahead and say that we might get a wreck here in the next 2 laps, but he's going to try to stretch it.
Here's the thing too. What if he's planning to come down pit road? Maybe take like enough gas to get to the end in 2 tires.
Possibly, and you know we can't tell you what's going on in these drivers' brains. We're not psychics. You know, I have the scanner on, and they're not saying anything, so it's all a guessing game. Is holy Toledo! Look at the 32 car and fresh tires gonna blow by the 10 car Garrett Brown off turn 4 here at the start finish line. There you go. There's your fresh tires, and Garrett's gonna be sitting back here going, "That's how much time I'm losing to this guy." You know, he's going to fly me when I have to pit. So, you know, right now that's right there in front of his windshield is the realization that, you know, is this a good plan or not?
Yeah, and it's slowly not looking like it. The longer they stay out, the more that 32 car is going to come back on fresher tires. So that 20 is really, really hoping for either a caution flag or that maybe for some odd reason he has enough to stretch it.
He needs a caution in the next 10 seconds because the 32 car is Buzz Lightyearing his way through the field, you know, just flying. As here he comes off turn 2, and he's going to pass him probably in the middle of 3 and 4 or before that. So he needs a caution in the next 5 seconds or it's not going to pay off.
Not at all. He's going to blow by him right on the outside right there. There he goes. And the 20 car is just chugging along still on the racetrack with 12 laps to go this time by.
Yeah, and we'll see if he can stretch it, because I don't think the 20 car was one of the cars that pitted. He's made 2 pit stops, so I don't know. Be interesting to see. He might have.
He might have, because other than the first, unless he came down pit road on the very, very first caution, which I don't think he did,
yeah.
Then they've only pit one other time besides that last caution. So if it says he pit twice, then maybe he did come down pit road.
It may be, and that was one of the problems with that big accordion effect we saw on the timing screen, is that we had to stretch the field out and see who was where, and we missed a lot of people who might have pitted. So Dylan Stipe could have pitted that last caution and said, 40 laps is worth it. I'm going to try to take a shot here. What's to lose? If I win this race, I might not win the championship, but I'll win a race.
Absolutely.
And he's trying for Garrett Brown to do anything other than run second place right now.
And like I've said before, the 20 car is the one that's going to have to take the most risks, as we are now at 10 laps to go, and he's got to take the most risks and hope. If Garrett Brown were to run out of gas, do you know how devastating that would be for him to fall back like that?
It would be, and at the same time, Craig Burns realizes that, and he's on pit lane at 4 tires on fuel, so he's going, I'm going to make it to the end of the race. I don't know about you guys, but I am. And that could be a championship move if Garrett Brown were to run out of fuel, as actually the 66 car passes him on the racetrack for position. That's position on the racetrack, so another point going Craig Burns' way, although he is also 21st, 2 laps down at the moment. But he's praying that these guys run out of fuel and the positions just come down the ladder like it's no business.
Yeah, absolutely. You see the 12 car on the apron there going, I believe that's 2 laps down now. Our race leader just going to try to stretch it. If a caution were to come out now, the question is, will he stay out and just save under the caution, or will he actually just come down pit road?
Yeah, I don't know. As more underlying problems there for Craig Burns than we're realizing, as he's back on pit road yet again. So him on the bottom of the racetrack was no surprise. Something is terribly wrong with that car, and we're going to try to diagnose what that is for you here as he's down pit lane. But he could save, he could not, as we're seeing the 87 past the 10. We're biting our fingernails here going, is the 20 going to make it? That's the big question right now on a racetrack. Is the 20 going to make it? And if the 10 doesn't, Michael, if the 10 doesn't, the 20 does, and the 10 has to pit, you know how devastating that is in points?
Yeah, exactly. And
that's going to be huge.
Absolutely. And we won't even know who the champion is until they announce it. But yeah, it's going to bring back a whole range of emotions, and just it's going to be pretty good.
Yeah, that 20 car is doing a pretty good job when you think about how he's trying to save tires. He's done a good job. He's rolled out of the throttle early. He's getting back on really late. He's saving as much fuel as he can. But I'm keeping my eye on another driver, the 32 of Ryan Thomas. He's on the back stretch, middle of it now. And Dylan Stipe is in the middle 1 and 2 now. He's not gaining that much time on the 20 car when it comes down to lap time. So that 20 car is doing exactly what he needs to do to stay ahead of Ryan Thomas. He's 2 seconds a lap slower, but here at Charlotte, when you're all circulating at the same speed relatively, it's going to take a long time and not 5 laps to catch the 20 car.
Absolutely. With 5 laps to go as they cross the start and finish line, can the 20 car even hold out? I believe at this point, no matter what happens, that 20 is running it out of gas.
Yeah, he'll be running it out of gas. And a new 4th place is about to be contested here. It's Garrett Brown and Mike Tellier. Mike Tellier running a 32.1. He's running a 10th of a second quicker than Garrett Brown. And he's slowly catching that 10 car. So another position going back towards Dylan Stipe. If you think about if Garrett Brown loses a position here, it's going to be interesting to see exactly how this plays out. Right now, I believe Garrett Brown might have the points lead if he gets past here, but that's another position he doesn't want to lose. And Parker Bland's not too far behind him, so 2 positions possibly in the next couple laps going to be possibly falling to Garrett Brown.
4 laps to go, and they're still just keeping an eye on the race leader. The question is, can he make it? That's going to be the biggest thing. And you're keeping an eye on it here. If he can pull this off, whether he wins a championship or not, that's a heck of a feat for him to be able to stretch the field that far.
Yeah, they're on 41 laps of the stint. This is lap 41. Deshaun Gorman is the guy on the oldest fuel and tires. He's on the 42nd lap of his stint. 42 laps is we're talking the absolute maximum edge of your fuel window. Either these guys have saved more than I've ever saved in my life here at Charlotte come to fuel. It's incredible that they're doing 42 laps going on 43. 66 coming down this time by. He can't make it. 42 laps might be the edge of the window as we're going on lap 42 for Dylan Stipe now on lap 99. It's going to come down to the nitty-gritty here on fuel.
Absolutely, and this is incredible. We got, I believe it's 3 laps to go this time, or are we on 4?
We're on lap 99 of 100, so we're coming to the white flag this time by.
Oh, are we?
Yeah, we are. And Dylan Stipe is going to stay out. He's committed. He's going to run it to the end. Dylan Stipe's going to take the white flag here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Can he make it on fuel? I don't know.
Yep, that's the most we can say, and it's going to get to the point. This could be 2011 Charlotte all over again, and we're going to have to wait and see. He's got a 7-second lead. He can coast from about turn 4 if he runs out of gas. This is going to be a heck of a feat. Dylan Stipe, he stayed out. He's clutched it. He saved gas, and off of turn number 4, Dylan Stipe is going to win the season finale at Charlotte.
Wow. Let's take a look at where Garrett Brown is. Is he almost out of fuel?
He's gonna. I don't know. I think he's out.
He's out, but he's
gonna
make
third.
He'll make it for third place, but he's out.
And oh my goodness, and he's gonna most likely be the champion.
We'll see on points, but it's gonna be close. As Ryan Thomas just got to almost third of the line, but fourth place will have to do for the number 32, your dominant car today. But Dylan Stipe was able to just...
20's finally out of gas.
He stretched it. I'll give him that. 43 laps. Well done.
See if he's able to do anything here. All right, takes the road course part. Does he have enough gas left? Is he still under power?
So. I don't know.
3 cars right next to him.
Your top 3, 43 laps on that stint. They all made it.
Yep, he's not moving, so I'm assuming he's probably out of fuel.
That's amazing.
Absolutely amazing. Oh, he moved us a little bit. Did he have a little tap? Oh, they're going to try to help him do his burnouts. Oh, no, there he goes. Nope. Dylan Stipe burning it down here with what's left of the fuel in that car. What an amazing stretch to get the victory.
Yeah, we're waiting on points. We're waiting on points.
Yeah, we are currently waiting on points to see if who our official champion is. I would have to assume it's Garrett Brown, 3rd place finisher, and he the 12 car finished, I believe it's what, 28th?
Yeah, he finished way back, 28th position for Craig Burns. 3 laps down. He's not going to be your champion, unfortunately, but what a season for Craig Burns, nonetheless.
Absolutely. We're looking at the race results right now here. Just an absolutely incredible 100 laps here. We're waiting for the drivers to line up for our interviews here.
Yep.
So Warren, give us your thoughts.
It's, what a race. What a race. What a way to finish off the season here for the Kicking Asphalt Tech.TV Cup Series. What a race. We had everything tonight. We had a dominant car for a good half of the race. We had, a wreck, middle of the race, a big wreck on the front stretch, and we had fuel strategy. We had it all in this race, didn't we? When you think about how a race should go, we had it all. And what a fantastic way to cap off the season here at Charlotte Motor Speedway for this series.
Absolutely. It was a heck of a race. It was really, really, really close. It had good fuel strategy. I honestly can't believe that they stretched it to that. In my honest opinion, I can't believe that they stretched it that much. We're gonna take a quick intermission as we get the drivers ready for their post-race interview. All right, we're back here. As we have official confirmation that third place finisher Garrett Brown is the official champion of the Cup Series, and we're gonna get to him real quick. But let's go ahead and interview second place Mike Tellier. So let's get him up here. Hey Mike, it's this Mike and Warren up in the Flatout Racing Network booth. You got us?
I do have you.
All right, so tell us about those last few laps, man. Everybody was just really on the edge there, and it was a heck of a finish.
Oh yeah, I had a plan from the beginning. I was gonna save my tires and save some gas because I knew it was gonna be close. And I don't know, it just happened to work out. I went 44 laps on a tank of fuel. I can't believe it. It's insane.
Yeah, we were up here in the booth just befounded. We were sitting here going, "Are they gonna make it? No way they're gonna make it." But you guys did it. What was your strategy making it? Were you clutching? Were you just letting off? Like halfway down the straightaway? What was your game plans trying to save? Because I tried to save here in Charlotte in a cup car, and it's not easy.
I guess I used the clutch. Right there coming into 3, there was a red mark on the wall, and I'd hit the clutch going it right there every lap. Same with 1. There's a mark going into turn 1. I don't know. Consistency, and yeah, it was all clutch saving fuel for a long time. It was a good run.
You had a pretty strong car all race long. Just couldn't. How hard was it really to pass with the runs in the draft that you get down the straightaways?
It was very hard. Turn 3, it seems like there isn't really more than 1 lane. Like there is, but it definitely narrows and makes it difficult to try and pass someone because you'll get the run coming at a 2, going into 3, but then all of a sudden it's like turn 3, 4 tightens up and you can't seem to pass anyone.
All right, Mike. Well, congratulations, finishing second place. To give you a chance to shout out anybody you need to.
Yeah, teammates at Waffle Motorsports and the affiliates at Dylan Stipe Motorsports. He actually won the race tonight, so good job for him. My kids and Death Wish Coffee for being on board all season long.
All right, man. Congratulations on second place, man. We'll hopefully see you again for next season.
Yeah, I'll be back in the same car, same number, hopefully winning some races next season.
Absolutely, man. You have a great night.
Yeah, you guys as well.
And that was our second place finisher. Let's bring our race winner up here and get his thoughts. Hey, Dylan, this is Michael and Warren up in the Flatout Racing Network booth. You got us?
Yeah, I got you, man.
Okay, tell us what was going through your mind those last 10, 15 laps with that much low fuel.
Honestly, I didn't know. I was pretty sure I was going to have to pit. Once the leaders started going into pit right in front of me, I just checked my fuel gauge and I was just about there. And I realized that I probably wouldn't be able to have to go into pit and just start turning my car off pretty much prematurely before going into 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 to just save that little bit more fuel to go all the way. Wound up crossing the line with about 0.2, 0.3 gallons left.
Wow.
Wow, that's incredible. And you were turning the car off. You weren't clutching. You were actually turning the ignition off, right?
Yes, I was turning the ignition off and clutching.
Wow, that is incredible because from up here in the booth we can't hear that. So the fact that you said that compared to what Mike Tellier told us, he was just clutching it. You were able to save just a bit more than that. Obviously, turning ignition off saves a lot of gas. I got to tell you, Dylan, we were talking the whole night. We saw Craig get in an incident about halfway through this race, and immediately we thought, Dylan's got to think in his mind, well, this is my chance, for possibly a championship, and winning this race would possibly get that done if Garrett wouldn't have finished in the top 5 or so. Was that your game plan? Was I have to win this race? Was that the whole strategy from the beginning, or was it just see how the race goes and plan on from there?
It was really more so to try to see how the race went. I had really bad luck last week at Darlington and wound up being like 20 points behind. So I kind of tried to play it safe. I didn't try to go for the lead right off the bat or anything. Trying to be safe, try not to get wrecked, and see what happened and see what would happen with Craig and Brown. And I don't think Craig fell back far enough for me to get second, but and still at least in third.
I'm not sure. I believe he finished at least in the later 20s. So
Yeah, I believe
it's always
28th.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm 2 points above second place.
See, finding things out is always the best. So
It hadn't updated yet, so I didn't know.
and you had an absolutely great win, man. I mean, you had us on the edge of our seats wondering, man, is he gonna make it? Is he gonna make it? But it was really an incredible drive. So we're gonna turn the mic over to you and thank anybody you need to.
All right. Really, really just want to thank the fantastic teammates I have. It really wouldn't have been possible with them. Some of them had gotten damage early on in the race, and then some of them were still trying to get on the lead lap. But they raced me really clean. I'm really thankful for that. They didn't really try to slow me down or anything like that. So I'm honestly thankful for that, for them allowing me to get the win.
Absolutely, man. First place in the race and second place in the standings, man. I hope to see you back for next season. Maybe win the championship next season.
We'll see. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Absolutely. All right, man. Go enjoy it and have a great night.
Thanks, man. You guys as well.
And that was our race winner, Dylan Stipe. But Warren, I think it's time to finally get the champion.
Yeah, let's get him in here.
Hey, Garrett, this is Michael and Warren up in the Flatout Racing Network booth. You got us?
I got you guys.
Man, third place in the race, but first place in the standings, man. How do you feel?
No, I'm excited. It was just a lot of fun, and it was a nerve-wracking race when it came down to fuel so much. I was right on the edge, and I was having to clutch it and cut the engine in some corners. So very excited and also some relief because that was a stressful finish, but it was fun.
Yeah, I'll say, and we've been doing the Tech Hub .tv Cup Series for the last 3 weeks now, and we were sitting here going before the race. Garrett Brown, he was running mid pack last couple weeks here on the channel. You brought your A game tonight. Let me tell you what, you practiced good, qualified well, and you ran up front most of this race. What was it? Is it just Charlotte that you really love? Was it just the tires you were able to save? What turned around your last couple of weeks to go from 10th to about 15th all the way up to third place?
Yeah, I think that really was the key. From the beginning, I had my mindset on conservation, which has kind of been my style for the year, but really it was conservation and just kind of picking my spots. I really tried to focus on 3 and 4 because I knew that's where you can eat up your tires the most. And I was really trying to be smooth through there and really trying to not slide my tires at all, keep them cool and have something for the end. And, once I realized it looked like it was going to be a fuel mileage race, that's when I got into fuel conservation mode. So really that was the theme of the night, just conservation, conservation, conservation.
Man, yeah, it was an incredible drive. You were up and down even from the start. You lost a couple positions. Figured you were just probably trying to save your stuff, and it paid out for you in the end. When Craig got into the accident halfway, did your mindset change at all?
It did somewhat. I knew that Craig got caught up. My team mentioned that, and my mindset then, I really wanted to get the win because I knew I hadn't been in victory lane yet. So I wanted to get the win and also get the championship. So actually, I got a little more aggressive. I tried to stay up front and really just try to stay out of any trouble in the back because I knew a wreck kind of could be what would ruin me. But then I knew if I ran out of fuel at the end, so it got interesting, and I want to give a shout out to Craig because he ran a great season and just bad luck tonight that he got caught up in that.
Yeah, it was a heck of a drive, man, and congratulations on the championship and a great third place finish, man. Go celebrate it, go enjoy it, man. Hope to see you again, maybe in the same position next season.
I love that. Thank you guys, and thanks for doing what you do for the league. You guys do a great job announcing, and Flatout Racing Network's a lot of fun. You guys are professional, and I appreciate you guys covering us, so it's awesome.
Absolutely, man. Well, you go enjoy it and have a great night.
Right.
Well, Warren, and that about wraps it up for tonight. A great championship race.
Great championship, great everything. Just it's mind-boggling just how much a race can change things. Just a recap on the race. We head into this race with Craig Burns, 2 points above your championship competitors, and Rec took him out of the race, unfortunately, when it comes to the championship. But that's just racing, and me and Michael have had enough experience on that to realize that racing sometimes is she's a curse, and we feel bad for Craig Burns, but that's racing, and he's a strong driver. He'll come back next season and possibly challenge for a championship.
Absolutely, worst luck, wrong place, wrong time, and it happens in racing. You're on top one week, you're on the bottom the next, and that's kind of just what happens. Well, that's going to end the season for Kicking Asphalt, and hopefully we'll be back for next season to broadcast more of the races. And it was a pretty exciting season finale, I'll give you that. So congratulations to both the race winner and the new champion. So for Michael Norman and Warren Keith from Flatout Racing Network, we'll see you guys next time until we meet again.